This is Governor Inslee grandstanding about something in a state that we know what color it's painted. Here it is.
So it would just be a very small group of people that are very gun adept. Anyway, go ahead, Governor.
If I may respond to that, let me just suggest whatever percentage it is. I heard at one time you might have suggested 20%. Whatever percentage it is, speaking as a grandfather, speaking as a governor of the state of Washington, I have listened to the people who would be affected by that. I've listened to the biology teachers, and they don't want to do that at any percentage. I've listened to the first grade teachers that don't want to be pistol packing first grade teachers. I've listened to law enforcement who have said they don't want to have to train teachers as law enforcement agencies, which takes about 6 months. Now, I just think this is a circumstance where we need to listen, that educators should educate, and they should not be foisted upon this responsibility of packing heat in first grade classes. Now, I understand you have suggested this, and we suggest things, and sometimes then we listen to people about it. Maybe they don't look so good a little later. So I just suggest we need a little less tweeting here, a little more listening, and let's just take that off the table and move forward.
That's Sideshow Bob right there. Let me take that off the table for you, Governor, because that doesn't matter. That argument is asinine that we're gonna have teachers out there carrying guns. The teachers that want to carry guns are already carrying guns. I have a friend that's a teacher that carries a gun, not in this state, has always carried a gun. Teachers where I grew up in New Mexico, they carry guns. Especially in the South, the Southwest, great country of Texas. Of course there's teachers there that are packing guns. But responsible gun owners that are packing heat don't tell you. They're not supposed to. That's why it's concealed. So stop concealing yourself when it comes to the streets, the tents, the derelict RVs, and the garbage dumps all over our city. Why don't you stand up and do something about that, Governor? And I challenge you to come on and stand up to me in the same way you stood up to Trump about an issue that doesn't even matter. It's the Ron and Don Show at Khmer Radio. Boy, am I pissed. What am I doing being feng shui? What am I doing? No, I'm not.
You're doing be mindful.
Be mindful. That's
You're
what I'm
centering.
doing. I'm centering. No, you know what I'm learning? Be grounded.
Oh, grounded. Yeah.
You know when you're being grounded, you're actually supposed to touch the ground and be grounded.
All 4 points are touching the...
I do, man. I'm grounded every morning. I kneeled to pray the other day and my back went out. I couldn't get up. I'm being honest.
Dear Lord, heal my back.
Right.
Step 1.
My son came downstairs like, Daddy, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm not standing up right now. Come help your daddy up. Check the cars now. Our good friend, Kimmy Klein, this traffic report this hour is brought to you by our good friends at Budget Batteries. Kimmy, what do you say?
Well, in Seattle, there was a brief crash south on I-5 in the collector distributor lanes right around Yesler. They cleared it off to the right shoulder, but you're still going to find some crowding even on the main line, getting south of the Ship Canal out of downtown. We're seeing some improvement in Marysville, though. The earlier crash north 5 near 116th is all gone now. The backup looks a little bit more normal, as we usually see right around US 2 in Everett. If you're on the east side, the biggest backup south on 405 leaving Bellevue all the way through Newcastle. There was a brief crash or something going on in Tukwila northbound 405, the West Valley Highway, but that's been cleared to the right shoulder now. Cairo Radio real-time traffic. I'm Kimmy Klein.
Budget Batteries, the best service and lowest battery prices for cars, ATVs, motorhomes, boats, motorcycles, and golf carts.
Street gangs, zoning violations, tax evasion, etc. We could go in and take their guns, and that's something we can predict with regularity. Obviously. You know what the bottom of the barrel is? Here's where you know you're dealing with emptiness, a vacuum, an anti-argument, the opposite of logic.
Well, the fact that the police officers didn't act shows that it's impossible to have anybody ever defend anybody. We should not have any defensive positions near the schools or people with guns, because the police there, they didn't do their jobs. And why would they when they're going up against an AR-15 and its magical disruption field where it disintegrates bullets before it hits the person?
That's the bottom of the barrel. Let me translate that statement.
Sometimes your smoke alarm runs out of batteries, so don't ever have one. There are times when people have been in car accidents and have a nasty cut from their seat belts and don't wear them.
airbags in your car? Because they can hurt your face when they explode. So don't ever have them. That's the bottom of the barrel. Is that a shock? The tactical leaders, the wisdom providers, are scared 16-year-olds that we're down to that point in this argument. Come back on the Todd Herman Show. If you missed it at 3 o'clock, and I gave him great credit for coming on, it's not easy to come on when you know you're going to face really difficult questions. Senate Minority Leader Mark Schossler joined us to attempt to explain why you should be banned from reading a good portion of the emails he produces. We're going to play a bunch of this because the comments have continued to pour in, including one listener who is absolutely convinced this is the right thing. Because Matt Shea says this is about watchdogs and this is about whistleblowers. I'm not persuaded. We'll get to that next. Right now, we'll check traffic of right-way traffic.
Crash and Everett all cleaned up off the northbound I-5. That is why it's stop and go out there from Marine View Drive stays heavy too out towards 88th Street. Tukwila earlier problems cleaned up. 405 northbound though still in the backup from South Center Boulevard out towards Oakdale Avenue. This traffic report is brought to you by Walgreens. Walgreens is here for all your diabetes needs. Stop by today to consult with your pharmacist. Get trusted advice and tips about your diabetes medications and testing supplies. You're listening to AM 770 KTTH.
It's never been more important than now to listen to Rush.
If Trump finds it politically opportunistic to agree with an age limit on buying a long gun, a rifle, let's say age 21 or 25, that just becomes a starting point. Then if Trump agrees, what about age limit on any other constitutional right? What about an age limit on free speech? That's the slippery slope to me. These things are never solutions.
Rush Limbaugh, weekdays 9 to noon on AM 770 KTTH, Conservative Talk Radio.
Met a lady at the dog park the other day who knew I was a talk show host, knew I was me. And she asked me about Dr. Lee Ardley, D.C. And I noticed that she's walking. She walks a little bit tenderly. And here was her concern about the Ardley Institute. She said, I hear your commercials, and I'm always suspicious of something that sounds like it can cure anything. I stopped her. We're talking in the dog park. I said, hey, listen, Dr. Ardley's going to let you know if he can't help. Okay, he is one of the most ethical people I've ever met in my life. Dr. Ardley is. He told my friend Corey he was really sad he wasn't able to help her. She needed to have surgery. But the reason it seems like it can cure so many things, and this is because Dr. Yardley practices healthcare, not disease care. When you clear up the brain-body connection, okay, that's the body's key to healing. Think of it this way. You know what an electrical short does over time? It gets worse. Okay, that happens between the brain and the body. Gentle, non-invasive care. Go see if you're a candidate for care at the Yardley Institute. 866-529-1105. That's 866-529-1105.
Sure, I know how to work on my car, tune up, even a brake job, but I've grown out of that, and I know pros can do it faster. Even so, here I sit reading 10-year-old magazines while I wait. If only the mechanic could come to your home or office. Introducing YourMechanic.com, the modern local car repair service that comes to you. No more cold, grimy, greasy waiting rooms. YourMechanic.com offers more than 500 services with 12-month, 12,000-mile warranties. Does your local shop do that? And all YourMechanic.com technicians are fully background checked and will provide you with a quote up front. Car won't start, check engine light bugging you, need a brake job? Schedule your appointment and save your valuable time for more important things in your life. Your mechanic comes to you and gets the job done. And for a limited time, get $20 off your first service call booked. Call now. 800-693-2776. 800-693-2776. No more greasy waiting room. 800-693-2776.
So, hey, just my last 3010 commercial, I realized I was addressing folks like me, gym rats, people like to work out. A lot of people hate working out, and they do the bare minimum. 3010 Weight Loss for Life actually works really, really well there because it's not a program that's designed for gym rats. I mean, it works for us, and that's why I did the commercial that way. But my wife does not like to work out. She doesn't like to sweat. She likes to dance. Now, when we go hit the clubs, my wife loves that kind of exercise, but she doesn't do what I do. The 3010 Weight Loss for Life program is so good that way because it is about what you eat and still shifting the gears in your body. Shifting your body from storing fat, winter storage savings account in case the true dystopia comes, to burning it. That's the secret. Then keeping it off for life, it's just learning how to reassociate foods. That's what I've done. Call 3010 Weight Loss for Life at 855-843-3010. You can tell them Todd Herman says hi. 855-843-3010.
You've chosen the right way home. The Todd Herman Show, live and local on AM 770 KTTH. Conservative Talk Radio.
Hey, it's the Happy Gardener Show, talking tulips. That's that gardening music there. What is that? What's wrong with you? You hit your head? What's going on in there?
I thought it sounded a little different.
Yeah, no, it's different. You got that. I'm not going to disagree with you there, Jeff, with the Jeep. So let's throw that one in the trash heap. The trash heap of bumper songs that will never again appear on the show. Now, we had earlier on the show Senate Minority Leader Mark Schossler. At 3 o'clock, he joined us at the top of the hour. Let me give you just a heads up on what they have done and how I see this. So they lost a round in court. Their desire is to retroactively keep their emails secret from you. As I understand it, they're trying to keep secret their emails between themselves. These are elected officials. So a senator emails a senator, they don't want you reading that. A constituent emails a senator or a House member, they don't want you reading that. They want to release certain emails, but they want to do that with their ability to pick and choose. And most of all, they want to make sure that you don't get to look at any of their emails in the past. They lost a round in court. The judge said that the public disclosure laws, the Open Records Act, applies to the House and the Senate. And we always do this. But they've operated for years with the middle finger saying we're not showing you the records. Now they're saying it's an issue of cost. And Matt Shea, we're going to try to get him on the show. Matt Shea says that this is a trick. This is a trick by the media to try to find gun owners and people who are opposed to same-sex marriage and get your identity. He says that it's all a nasty trick. And these are the brave legislators protecting you from that. Well, I don't buy that. I'll tell you why. It's because this bill was written in 48 minutes, or it was written and passed in 48 minutes. Do you think that Democrats give a damn about protecting the identity of gun owners? It passed 47-1. All of Olympia effectively. All of Olympia effectively stood up and said, you're not looking at our emails. So they knew they were going to lose on appeal, where they were spending your money to appeal a lawsuit that was protecting you and your access to your information. So they wrote this bill that now makes this lawsuit pretty much a moot point, because you're making it retroactive. So this is a new way for them to hide their emails retroactively. So Mark Schossler came on the show. Give him credit for that. Senate Minority Leader Mark Schossler. And he spoke with us. Now, I was asking about your emails, the ones you produce.
The ones I produce, well, same thing. I've had people call.
So let me give you background on this, because I was asking him what part of the emails, what emails that you produce should I not be allowed to see? They're my property. I pay you to produce them. And he gave us this answer saying, well, you shouldn't be allowed to see the emails that other people write to me because their names might be on it and they're whistleblowers. Now, I was asking about your emails, the ones you produce.
The ones I produce, well, same thing. I've had people call or email in, and we talk about, hey, I know of fraud, waste, there's potential abuse going on. They feel comfortable doing it because they know that their employers or supervisors aren't going to be privy to it.
So I shouldn't be allowed to read your responses to whistleblowers. So that's why this bill exists?
I think that's one of the aspects that is there, that people contact us for reasons that you would want us to work on, and they need that confidence that it is there.
So their names can't be redacted?
Well, you enter into a situation where you could, but I think in many cases you would find out that an anonymous person at Department of Revenue has been made aware of inappropriate actions. It's not that big of an agency, you would know it.
And there are federal protections for whistleblowers. I do not buy that this is about whistleblower protection. You could set up separate emails. We said this, you could set up a website that says, here's for common concerns, your email could be published. here's a whistleblowing concern, it could not be published, or do you wish to have your name redacted? Maybe you want to go in the public record. A lot of people don't care. They go in the public record. So I do not buy that this is about protecting whistleblowers. I asked him why their emails are not our property. They are. Every email written in Olympia by an elected official belongs to us. So let me ask you this. Here's the thing that's angering people is you work for us and we pay you to write emails. And I've never worked in a circumstance where my boss isn't privy to all my emails. And I feel I'm privy to anything you write. Belongs to me.
Okay. Well, I think we knew going in that we had immunity from the 1995 law.
The judge disagreed entirely. Judge said it couldn't have been more clear. So you guys spent our money you guys spent our money to defend the suit because you were defendants, and then you spent our money to write a new law. And how am I wrong that your emails belong to me?
Well, the rules were changed by the judge from what they were. I think what's important also from the judge's ruling, the judge said that we are 147 independent state agencies. Now, if I was an independent state agency, I would start making rules that I'm sure you would generally really like. Unfortunately, we're an agency with no support, then we would be forced to produce those for anybody, anywhere in the state at any time, maintain 30 hours of office time for those requests when many of us don't even have a district office. It's here in Olympia. So it wouldn't be our staff producing those. It would be us on our time in the interim or during session when we should be actually working on things, being considered separate state agencies.
Well, or
that was a huge problem that needed correcting.
Okay, or you could just store the emails in the cloud and let us search them.
If you go through it and you say, okay, this isn't something that dealt with personal. Go through, this is not somebody that's easily going to be identified. I just had 4,000 emails this weekend over the gun bill that was introduced Friday.
And none of this rings true to me. None of this rings true because I'll tell you another reason why. You can find information. How do you think, you ever move in Washington State and suddenly you get, hey, you might need a new bag. Hey, you might need a new car. You know, they get that through the state of Washington. They get that through public records. Do you know that the voter database, the political parties have your address. The DNC has your address now. They know if you're a Republican voter. None of this protecting whistleblower stuff rings true. None of it. And if it's a whistleblowing circumstance, you could put that into a special file. I don't buy this for a second. Senate Minority Leader Mark Schlosser tried to explain this. I told him flat out that a lot of people see this, including me. I see it as Olympia giving us the middle finger. Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of people who think this is Olympia throwing a finger in our face, a middle finger.
Well, I think we were correcting an unworkable situation. If we go back to, storing in the cloud, redacting, coming back, during session, to meet the timelines of open public records, which has been used to punish many small cities.
Punish them how?
It really wouldn't even be practical.
How is the public requesting records punishment?
Well, in the case of small cities, it's used to punish a city council you didn't agree with, knowing that they couldn't possibly meet the requirements because they have part-time employees.
Well, like I was saying,
working with limited technology.
Yeah, they can just store the documents in the cloud. The documents belong to us, not you. You guys work for us. There are documents.
There's the time factor that falls into open public records is what I'm getting at.
You mean the time they have to respond, in other words,
right.
The time limit. Yeah,
right.
I understand that. That could be fixed by storing them in the cloud.
No, if it's due within X number of hours or days and you're in the peak of session, something like this weekend when we had, I think I had at least 4,000 emails on the new gun bill.
Those
plus
could all
the regular emails that show up.
Sure, they could all be in the cloud. They could all just CC a cloud address, and anybody could go search it.
Well, if you're going to go through and redact people's privacy that actually
like I said,
could be whistleblowers.
so much of this is sleight of hand. Now, Matt Shea, and is a guy I respect, he says that this is the media wants to get the home addresses of gun owners and people who are against same-sex marriage and people who don't want their little girls being forced to shower with grown men, as the Human Rights Commission has forced them to do. There are ways to deal with all of that, such as people requesting anonymity. Now, here's the way to approach this. Number one, all registered lobbyists have registered lobby email addresses. They don't use their own email addresses. They belong to us. If you are emailing the state legislature in Washington State, we give you an email address. You use that for all your communications. Every time you communicate in email outside of that using a different email address, it's a $100,000 fine. That stuff immediately CCs an email box in the cloud. Any journalist can go look at it. In fact, any citizen can go look at it. That doesn't require any redaction whatsoever. On whistleblowing topics, you put out a website that is for whistleblowers. You don't ask for people's email addresses. You take the information anonymously and let your investigators follow up. This is not about whistleblowers. For people who are writing in with their opinions, you ask them, do you want your records stored? Do you want it to be able to be searched? If people say no, you don't do that. You put in a first name. None of this, for me, is about tracking down who wrote to this or that senator with this or that opinion unless it's lobbyists. I want to know what they wrote to themselves. I want to know what they said to the lobbyists back and forth. I want to know where their calendars for official events all of a sudden end up next to unofficial events. Like, wow, look at that. You arranged to go to this chamber meeting in this city, though you don't represent that city, and look at that. You had a vacation right next door. The assumption that I got from Schossler, which bothers me, is that I feel like he's coming from a position that these really aren't our emails, they aren't really our documents, they're his and theirs to do with as they wish. Now, the last bit of this, Schossler hedged. I asked him if he'd come back on the show and take calls. He said he'd love to take calls, see if we could work something out, but he's very busy this week. I'll let you know. We're going to continue to push on that, and I'm going to try to get Matt Shea to come on the show. And I'll say this flat out. If they're going to hide the emails from us and they belong to us, then the hacking community, you now have the high moral ground. You literally have morality on your side if you decide to get our emails for us. Please don't steal the public's, just the office holders, if you decide to do it. We'll come back in the Todd Herman Show and wrap up the day with a personal note, not before we get out and check traffic with Right Way Traffic, brought to you by the Online Trading Academy.
We've got a crash involving a Metro bus to warn you about, and this is blocking the northbound lanes of 3rd Avenue and Seneca Street. Avoid the area. Buses are being directed to you.
A beautiful, complicated history, the miracle at Mika, tonight at 6 on Como 4.
Dad!
Well, young lady, you're...
Avenue, but at least the crash has been cleaned up. Leaving Bellevue, you've got some company out there. 405 southbound from Main Street. Stop and go to Coal Creek Parkway. You're listening to AM 770 KTTH.
Seattle's own Michael Nezek.
We have a tendency in the United States when something terrible happens, we have to do something disease.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
You got to do something, you got to do it immediately, you've got to make an immediate resolution, otherwise nothing will ever get done. Look, I think that should be tempered more than resisted.
On AM 770 KTTH.
And we should focus on doing things that could actually make a positive difference.
Conservative Talk Radio.
What is it, February 26th? It's after 5 o'clock? Man, this is urgent now. It's urgent. You got to get on this.